was so taken aback there. I came without the program, even though I know Cindy's coming up next. Our next speaker is Cindy Kangas. Cindy, come on up.
Okay. It's October 3rd, 1992. I'm 30 weeks pregnant, I'm pre-eclamptic, and I'm driving myself to Sparrow Emergency Room. I'm 17 years old, I just graduated from Lansing Eastern High School, and I'm scared as hell. I end up giving birth to a baby boy, emergency cesarean, and he stays in the hospital for 2 months. And I end up staying for 7 days myself. And in that time, I realize I have a huge decision to make. I can stay in Lansing and become a mom to this baby, or I can put him up for adoption and follow my dream of becoming a dancer and going off to college in Tennessee so I can study dance. And as I'm playing this out in my head, I'm looking back over my life and how much dance meant to me, and how it was more than just a passion, it was a release. In the 60s, my parents came to Lansing, and they met while attending the Michigan School for the Blind. My mom is totally blind, and my dad is partially sighted. And it's funny to me when people tell the history of Lansing, they always leave it out. It's this huge, iconic place in the north side of town. And thousands of students went to school there. Stevie Wonder went to school there, everybody.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. But as a child, I realized that my life wasn't like my friends' lives. I had this sense of responsibility. I had this weight on my shoulders. I felt that I needed to care for my parents. And that was hard, and dance was my release. So as I'm sitting in the hospital room, I'm thinking that over, and then I realized that I love something else just as much as I love dance, and that's Lansing. I went to school here, I learned to ride my bike on the sidewalks here, play in the parks. It was a huge part of my life, and my support system was here. So that, coupled with the thought that I had already sort of been a caregiver, helped me make the decision to become a parent to this new baby boy. I immediately enrolled at Lansing Community College, and I took as many parenting classes and child development classes as I could because I was determined not to be a teen parent statistic. Within a couple of years, I was married and I had 3 more children. And 4 is a lot. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had a lot of love. And I remember my kids as a young age coming home from school and saying, oh, my friends are going off to vacation for spring break in Cancun, or they're spending summer vacation at Disney, or they're going up north to their cottages. And we didn't have that. We didn't have the money for that. But we did have something else, something that I like to call staycations. And my kids, bless them, have been inside of every museum, every library. We've attended every concert and every family-friendly attraction within about 50 miles of Lansing. And I realized that I wanted to share my love of Lansing with them, but I was also giving them roots along the way. And as they continued to grow, I also evolved. And I realized that Lansing and caring for people was my calling. I went back and took a tour of the Michigan School for the Blind, which there aren't a lot of buildings left, but there are some. And I continue to go back to the elementary school there and read during Reading Month every March. I host a viral video segment as a part of the Lansing Made project called What's the Haps for Kids and Families, where I can share with the people of Lansing all of the things that they can do here free or low cost. And chances are, I've done those things myself. And more so, I've made being a caregiver my job. I've worked for 3 different nonprofits, and right now I am at Ellie's Place. And I'm a fundraiser. I raise money so that we can continue to support the kids in our community that are grieving and struggling with loss. It's a big hug and a warm fuzzy every day I go to work, and I love it there. Like most kids do, my kids are grown up. My oldest 3-year-old boys, and I'm very proud of them, they're off adulting, being stewards in their own communities. I'm recently divorced, and it's just my daughter and I at home right now. And she's a dancer. And in my eyes, proud mom, she is the most beautiful creature that's ever been on stage. And every time I watch her at a performance, or I see her getting an award at a competition, I realize that the joy I feel watching her is greater than any joy I could have felt being on stage myself. 26 years ago, I stayed in Lansing to raise my family, and I'm so thankful I made that choice. Thank you.